I don't have. 2004 was definitely the last meeting.
Good morning, all. It looks like we're waiting for a few people to finish connecting to audio, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. We're really excited to have Michigan and Oklahoma State here at Globe Life Field for Bout at the Ballpark presented by Kubota in 2023. We're going to kick it off with both coaches to give brief remarks on the event. And we also have Sean Decker, president of Rev Entertainment, here to answer any questions on the event. So to kick it off, we'll have Michigan head coach Sean Bormet.
Yeah, I know we're excited. We just came off a weekend where we had two special event duels. So I kind of saw the excitement from our guys overall as a team. Really excited about competing with Oklahoma State. I know they got a tough squad this year, and I think it's only our second official dual meet with Oklahoma State. We've had some meetings over the years at national duels and Virginia duels, but I think our only straight up dual meet was in 1972. So kind of long overdue to have a straight up dual meet. And just want to thank Rangers organization and Rev Entertainment for getting excited about the sport of wrestling and putting on a world-class event in Globe Life Arena.
Thank you. And then we'll go to Oklahoma State's head coach John Smith.
Well, we look forward to the opportunity again. We had a good experience last year outside of not winning. It was really a good experience, and I think our fans enjoyed it. I think that the one thing that it does do, it really promotes wrestling in the state of Texas. That Texas has historically been growing in the sport, and we're seeing more and more student athletes coming out of there and wrestling and spreading out across the nation, and that's a good thing as well. Women's wrestling as well is just really have taken off in the state of Texas, and I think that it's just all around just a good event. And for the second year with Michigan, I think Sean Bormet said we've only had one dual meet. I think it was maybe in Stillwater, and this will be our second opportunity. We've wrestled some national duels, but I think we've had a total of 6 matches against each other, and that's not very many. You think about the strength of Michigan over the years. So we're looking forward to the competition, and we're looking forward to repeating another great event in Texas.
Great, thank you. So we will go to questions. If you'll just unmute your mic whenever you ask the question. Kevin?
Hi, very excited to watch this event. It's going to be awesome. I was just trying to think of some of the logistics of putting an event like this together, right? And some of the things that as coaches you have to kind of weigh. So there's, obviously getting exposure for the program and general intrigue at a cool event, just getting great competition for your athletes. And I imagine trying to get other big programs involved is a big piece of this too. So, when trying to organize this, when do you guys connect with each other, or how does this process start in trying to get an event like this put together?
I guess I can start with that. Thanks, Kevin. So we started making a commitment to wrestling for Rev Entertainment and Globe Life Field and the Texas Rangers here a handful of years ago. And honestly, Chad Weiberg at Oklahoma State was one of the first to call me. I wrestled in Ohio in middle school, so I understand how big wrestling is across the country. And as Coach Smith referenced how much it's growing in Texas. We started then talking to the NCAA about potentially being a host in the future for the national championships. Obviously, have never got that, but that's still a goal. And ultimately, what morphed last year as we started creating Bout at the Ballpark, candidly, our goal is starting in 2024 to have multiple schools and make it a bigger, longer weekend. But it actually started, we got to meet Coach Bormet. Michigan played in our baseball tournament earlier this year. And on a trip up there on a whim, got a chance to meet with Coach Bormet and talk through the idea of coming down, and then floated back to Oklahoma State. As you know, and as we've learned over the last couple of years, wrestling schedules are as much an art as they are a science. And so, we've worked really hard to work with all the coaches to get as many folks. We've got, I know Anthony Bartkowski's on the line, Jared Schramm. We've got a big staff here that's been working the phone lines pretty hard. And we're excited to grow the event this year and then in future years as well to make it something that wrestling fans get excited for every year.
All right, I'll jump in now. This is for John in terms of picking Texas as an opportunity. Oklahoma State draws pretty well at Gallagher Iba. What was the idea there of kind of giving up a home date to go down here, or is that part of the scenario where, all right, well, we can give up the ticket revenue for this to help grow the sport a little bit more?
Well, I think last year we did give up a home dual meet. This year, I don't think this dual meet would happen unless it was at Globe Life. It wouldn't have happened at Michigan, nor was it going to happen at Oklahoma State. So it was something that was a great opportunity for us to wrestle, and so it's just another date for us. Again, I'll say it again, that really this dual meet wouldn't happen unless it was at Globe Life.
I want to follow back up with Sean a little bit. I was at the event last year, and obviously the concept of coming down onto the baseball field, as I had a seat near the mat, and then everything that went along with it. But Texas Live right there, you really created an event. Wrestling people like to find some place, sit around and socialize next to the event. So that whole complex plays a role in the success of this event. What did you learn from last year, and what improvements are you going to make on the event this year?
Yeah, great question. Thanks a lot. Yeah, the goal is to grow this event. Maybe the biggest difference is we're going to go down to one mat this year to make sure that all the focus is kind of on the center of the arena. We're also going to move the mat. Last year, not to get too technical, but we were closer to second base on the position of the mat, and we felt like we were kind of too far away from some of the fans in the stands. So we've moved the mat closer to what I would like home plate, we'd say, to get it closer to the fans, to get it a little bit more intimate, and to create kind of a neater feel there. So I think that'll be there. We're gonna stick with a lot of the pyro and a lot of the fun stuff you saw on event day. Continue to have great parties over at Texas Live. Continue to develop the area and make it. I think what was really special, I actually had the chance to have dinner with Coach Smith the night before last year. And when these guys roll up on the team bus and are staying at the Live by Lowe's hotel adjacent to the stadium and can walk next door and their fans can see them and interact with them. The atmosphere that Friday night before was really electric, and we're excited to bring that back and continue to grow that.
Coach Smith, you kind of talked about, or Jason, I guess, kind of asked about moving Iowa last year, and that was kind of the feedback I got from a lot of fans was they liked the event, but they didn't like taking Iowa out of Gallagher Iba. You said this Michigan duel probably wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for this event. Did that kind of factor in when you looked at scheduling this year, is to instead of take Iowa out of Gallagher Iba, you got a duel with Michigan that's not somebody you guys traditionally wrestle?
Yeah, I think so, Seth. It definitely it was a challenge because of the scheduling, but when it all kind of came together right at the last minute, it seemed like it just made sense to do this and compete against a good team that finished second last year, and it's a good opportunity for both squads to meet up, and hopefully we can grow from this and maybe go home and home in the future. I think that we're always looking for good home meets at home, and so no, it definitely wouldn't have happened, unless we wrestled at Globe Life. Iowa was a dual meet that we did take from Gallagher Marina, but I think it was something that I have no regret. I think the event went really well. I think over the last 6 or 7 months, I think that people came to wrestling camps. They came to Stillwater because they're experiencing Globe Life and that match that did happen. So I think we created some new fans.
I'm going to jump back in and ask a question for Coach Bormet. And looking at Michigan as a national brand, when it comes to the collegiate sports scene, yes, the Maize and Blue are a national brand, but traditionally, when it comes to wrestling, one-off events or special events, Michigan hasn't been usually the first on the tip of the tongue. What are you doing to make sure that, hey, when there are special events like this, like what we had down in North Carolina with their baseball field, that Michigan is the team, hey, we're ready to take this challenge. We're going to do something that puts our brand on the forefront of college wrestling. So what's changed there, or what's the mindset with that position?
Yeah, that's been a focus of ours over these last several years. Obviously we want to wrestle the best competition in the country. We see a lot of the same Big Ten teams often at tournaments, and then through our Big Ten season's tough. So obviously we want to wrestle some of the best teams outside the Big Ten. Obviously Oklahoma State's always been one of those top tier programs. We haven't had a chance to wrestle them a lot. We used to see them at the Las Vegas tournament and years ago, but and without the national duels, we don't have a chance to see them. And they got a great team, and there's a lot of great individual matchups. So anytime I think we can get outside and grow our fan base in the sport of wrestling, it's a good thing. And I think events like this really create that opportunity. There's a little extra exposure outside what our our normal regular fan base would be, and I think that's a great thing. So to put two of the top programs in different conferences together in an event like this, I think everybody wins.
Can I ask a follow-up to that question to Sean? How valuable are events like this, both from, experience for your student athletes, but, increased visibility, kind of taking the wrestlers out of their comfort zone. So do you gain a lot from these type of events?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think our student athletes, the experience is tremendous. I know what we just went through this past weekend with the dual meet at Fort Bragg on Veterans Day was, man, that was, I mean, I could hear the guys talking about it. I think it'll be one of their more memorable experiences they have. We competed against North Carolina on their baseball field, so we got a little glimpse of what that might look like. Obviously, Globe Life Field's a much bigger stage, and I know the commitment they're making to this event is world class. So, but I think it gives our athletes a different experience, and I think it also it just helps them prepare for any environment and be able to keep their focus on the wrestling and just be part of some special events and continue to grow that fan base. So we're looking forward to the opportunity.
Coach Bormet, Coach Smith kind of mentioned possibly, building this thing into a home and home with Michigan. Is there any possibility that opens up? I mean, there's a lot of tradition there. Cliff Keen, Oklahoma State guy, there's, I don't know, background there. Is that a chance that actually happens?
Yeah, I think, we'd definitely be interested in that. I know there's been, I've had some conversations with Zach over the last couple of years, and then we kind of that COVID bump, obviously, like I said, we want to wrestle the best teams, and I know Oklahoma State's got the same mentality. I mean, we both have very tough schedules every year, and scheduling is usually the challenge, especially we get into our Big Ten season, January, February, and, week in, week out, it gets really tough. And I know they've traditionally always kind of had that Iowa duel on the calendar. So I think it's just a matter of fitting it in. But I think, for both of us, they're great draws for home fans, home attendance. And I think anytime you can add one of those duels to your home schedule, it's great for recruiting, and it creates a great environment to compete in.
I was just thinking through some of the potential matchups. As coaches, I mean, you guys are competitors at the highest level. What are there any matchups you're looking at on paper that you're excited to see at Bout at the Ballpark?
Well, this is a February dual meet. A lot of things can happen from now till then. And so, it's, yeah, I think there's probably a few of them, but I can't really think. I haven't looked at Michigan's lineup, and I'm worried about Wyoming in 3 days. So it's a little further out than I really can think about. But we know they got a good, strong lineup, and they had a good year last year. Several of those kids back. They lost a few, and they're replacing a few, and I'm sure they're trying to build a few weights. That's kind of where we're at. We're in a position where we're just trying to build some weights right now and being competitive at some weights. And so for us to be real successful in this dual meet with Michigan, we're going to have to build some weights before we hit February.
Yeah, I think we're definitely in the same situation. The one thing I could tell you I'm excited about though is I think there's going to be 2 offensive teams going at it. And, I know Oklahoma State's always got an aggressive offensive style, and that's the style we've been pushing hard here at Michigan. So I'm excited about the style matchup of 2 teams that are going to get after it and try to put points on the board. And I'd say that's what I'm most excited about for this duel.
Sean, following back up with from the event planning standpoint, you talked about the bid process. When you put on events like this, how much does this help in the eyes of, say, the committees that say, hey, okay, we're going to look at a place like Texas, and how does it also help you with various sports commissions and such? Be like, okay, we have a viable option. We've shown that we can put fans in a non-conventional arena to create an event type of space that's conducive to the sport of wrestling. So what is the long game here with Bout the Ballpark, maybe outside of the event itself?
Yeah, no, great question. So I wish I could answer that question from like the NCAA standpoint and all that. I don't know. I can't speak to that. I can speak from the sports commission side. I'm fortunate to work with the 3 biggest here in the region, and no question, sports tourism and driving fans that otherwise wouldn't be in your market to come take on sporting events, traditional and non-traditional, is a huge win for us. College athletics has been a huge mover for Rev, from our college baseball showdown in February every year to we just finished our Commanders Classic with Army and Air Force and football. Anyways, a lot of the college athletics. So Bout at the Ballpark, speaking about Bout specifically, our biggest focus is making this an annual destination that the entire wrestling community wants to come to. So we think this is year 2 of hopefully a 100-year run of Bout at the Ballpark. That's our driver, and our goal is to make this something, candidly, I'm not just saying this because Coach Smith and Coach Bormet are on the line. Like, we want to make this event they feel like they have to come to every year, that it's the best event in the country with the best competition in the country, and that it's put on and they're treated better than anywhere else they go. So that's super important. We've worked with USA Wrestling in the past to have extra events around it. So we're committed to wrestling. We're really committed to growing Bout at the Ballpark, and we want it to be the premier date on everybody's calendar before they get to the national championship.
I'll follow up just on that. This is a place that I think everybody needs to see. I mean, Globe Life is just an incredible, just incredible from the standpoint of what it offers and the things that are happening around it. And so I think in the future with the NCAA championships, I think if Globe Life, puts a bid in, I mean, it might be one of the greatest events we could have outside of, a major arena in a large city. I mean, the number of seats that it's available, I think that it'd probably be a sellout. It'd probably be the largest event we ever had from an NCAA standpoint. So I do believe that, part of why we're going to Globe Life and why we're doing some of this is that we believe the future of an NCAA championship at that Globe Life is something that is possible, hopefully, and something that I think would give wrestling a real boost nationwide, maybe even worldwide. So there's a lot of reasons why we're going to Globe Life and wrestling dual meets, but one of my big reasons is someday to show that this is a place that can host the NCAA championships and what an event it would be, an incredible place to compete.
Just for the record, I'm glad we're recording. We're going to definitely use that in our next deck to the committee. Thanks, Coach.
Well, it's true.
Coach Smith, you guys plan on continuing to come back to this as a yearly event, kind of like Sean was talking about?
Well, I think it's something that we're definitely, it's scheduling, and scheduling was tough this year, and it was tough to say yes to this event for us because the home meets that we do have, and some of our locals, was really a little bit shaken about us wrestling last year and taking one of our home meets to Iowa. I think that this could be something that we just look at maybe a major team. If we're going to do a couple mats with maybe 4 teams, maybe it's something that for us we're wrestling someone new that's maybe in the top 10 that we haven't wrestled. You think of top 10s, Big Ten. Big Ten doesn't get too much outside of outside the Big Ten. They don't really do a whole lot. I think Sean works at it, but historically we've wrestled Iowa and Minnesota for the last 30 years, and we've made a commitment, both programs, both Minnesota and Iowa have made a commitment to wrestle us home and away every year. And we've literally done that for the last 30 years. But getting anyone else to do that in the Big Ten has been real difficult, been a big challenge for us. It's really bullshit, tell you the truth, that they don't look at it as being important to get themselves out there. And I really appreciate Sean making that commitment, so for us, it's going to be nice to have someone new, that Big Ten has obviously got several teams in the top 10, and getting someone new is always a nice event for it, and a nice thing for people to watch and I think people are going to enjoy Oklahoma State and Michigan wrestling match at Globe Live.
Do we have any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you all for your time today. We're looking forward to hosting the event here in February, and tickets will go on sale this December. So we'll send out those details as soon as we have them.
Thank you.
Super
Sean,
looking forward to it.
good
Thanks,
luck.
guys. Good luck this
Yep.
weekend.
See you soon, Coach.
Yep. Not too much luck.